What is up, everyone? Thank you for tuning into another episode on the channel. Today, we're going to talk about the Call of Duty killer itself, aka XDefiant. Now, honestly, who said this? Who said this shit? I kept hearing about it and reading about it, and oh yeah, XDefiant's going to kill Call of Duty. You guys were fucking delusional. Was the game fun? Sure, I had a few battles on it. I liked it, but I mean, a Call of Duty killer. Call of Duty's been around since the PS2. To say this game from fucking Ubisoft was gonna just kill Call of Duty is it's delusional. Like, if you hate Activision and Call of Duty and Treyarch, blah blah blah, I get it, but it was not going to be a Call of Duty killer from Ubisoft. Come on, man. Come on, man. Fucking Call of Duty killer. Okay, yeah, and EA is gonna make a fucking Call of Duty killer 2 next, and everyone's gonna believe it. God, guys. Now, the Call of Duty killer, that game. Now, XDefiant was a game that was hyped up beyond belief to be the Call of Duty killer, a title that absolutely did not live up to its name. Now, Ubisoft just announced they're going to be shutting down the game in 2025, and honestly, if you didn't see this coming, I think you need to do an eye test. Today, I want to break it down as why XDefiant never actually stood a chance, how it failed, and how it failed to live up to the hype, and why I knew this was Ubisoft, yet again being Ubisoft. Now, let's rewind to when XDefiant was first announced. Ubisoft marketed it as the answer to Call of Duty, a fast-paced competitive FPS with a mix of fractions from Tom Clancy's universe. On paper, it sounded great. Fuck Tom Clancy. Those games were awesome. Those games are awesome, and I did love the fractions in XDefiant, but it just did not. It didn't live up. It had too much hype. Maybe people hyped it up too much. Maybe if it was on Steam and on Xbox and the PlayStation Store, it would have actually done well. Honestly, it had a lot of potential. The Tom Clancy vibes with the Call of Duty vibes, with the Overwatch vibes, and the promise of it being a free to play model was, it on paper it sounded really fucking good. But here's the thing. Ubisoft's track record has already made me spectacle, and this is the same company that bought us The Crew, only to pull it back. Now everybody that bought it and downloaded, you can't play it, you can't download it. Now it's just go buy The Crew too. Hmm. Hmm. Then we got Concord, and how long did Concord last for? Not long at all. And how are they going to manage a live service FPS game with a single player base as demanding as Call of Duty? Spoiler alert, they didn't. You have to have advertisement. You have to let the gamers play on multiple platforms. Call of Duty, you can play on the Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and we can all play with each other. You cannot beat that. You cannot beat that. And to be fair, when XDefiant worked, it was fun. The gameplay felt solid, the fractions were creative, and I'll admit I had a good time during the beta and after the beta. It was okay. It was a time waster. But here's the issue. Matchmaking took forever. Golly, I could have grilled hamburgers and hot dogs for the whole family, and then the game would have found a match and I could play. Oh my god, I must have played about 10, 15 matches, and I just couldn't get over how bad the matchmaking was. Like, okay, a lot of people are upset about Call of Duty's matchmaking and the skill points matchmaking. Well, at least we can find a lobby in like 10 seconds. Jesus Christ. Fucking XDefiant. I had to read a bedtime story, man. I just, ugh. And then, when he did finally get in, there are enough players. No, I mean, give or take, sometimes you'd have a full team. Sometimes, there'd be 2 or 3 people missing. But, that was the only issues. You know what I mean? You either get lobbies full of bots, or the same fucking players over and over again. It's not the kind of thing that keeps, people coming back. Oh great, I get to play a game with a whole bunch of bots, or it's the same person for 3 days ago. Oh yeah, that's great. It was never ever a Call of Duty killer. And now here's where things get really ugly, or at least really distasteful, in my opinion. There is a bunch of people that spent real life money on XDefiant, buying skins, bundles, you name it, and now Ubisoft is shutting it all down, giving players no refunds, no way to keep what they paid for. This is the same nonsense they pulled before, and that's why so many gamers feel betrayed by Ubisoft. They talk a big game, they hype it up, but when it comes to supporting their players after release, they consistently drop the ball. At least with Call of Duty, the content you buy is going to last for years. With Ubisoft, it's a gamble every single time, and that's coming from the Call of Duty killer, or the newest Assassin's Creed, or the Crew, or Riders Republic. You're gonna see this happen time and time again because this is what happens when you Google when you gamble with Ubisoft. It's just not a good time. From the beginning, I knew XDefiant wasn't going to be a Call of Duty killer. I said it, but you know what? I still played it. I had a good time. The thing is, Ubisoft doesn't have the same level of commitment or manufacture as Activision when it comes to competitive shooters. The matchmaking issues, the low player base, the lack of long-term support were glaring red flags. And let's not forget, they were going to go up against Call of Duty, a franchise with decades of dominance and an audience that's massive. Competing with that requires more than just a decent concept. It requires near flawless execution, which Ubisoft clearly didn't deliver yet again. Seriously, who is actually shocked? Who said X Defiant was going to be a Call of Duty killer? Were you guys just saying that just to say that? Just to help the hype or whatever, because you could not have believed that. Call of Duty has been a thing since PS2, man. There's no way you thought this brand new game was going to be a Call of Duty killer. Dude, it doesn't, Call of Duty can do a lot of bad, and they still have players coming back to it. That is the nature of the beast. So here we are, 2024 December, XDefiant is shutting down in 2025, and people are shocked. Not really. Not really at all. It had potential, but potential doesn't mean when a game can't keep up its promises to the players, doesn't mean, oh my god. It had potential. Potential doesn't mean that when a game can't keep its promises or players, it's going to be doomed. Ubisoft marketed as a Call of Duty killer, but instead it became yet another example of their inability to maintain a live service game. So stop making your games live service. You can't fucking do it, Ubisoft. Like what signs do you need? This is your sign. Stop live service games. You're making yourself look ridiculous. At the end of the day, XDefiant was fun for a while, but it was never going to dethrone Call of Duty, and that is just the reality of things. If there's one lesson to learn to take away from all this, it's this: don't believe the hype, especially when it comes from the developers themselves. Of course, Ubisoft is gonna fucking hype it up and say it's a Call of Duty killer, and now those people that spent the money on those skins and bundles are out of pocket. They just this is so stupid. So what do you think? Did you play XDefiant? Were you disappointed like I was? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good day, everyone.